Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program. And I'm making this video for my good friend, Descartes. And before I go on there, I'd just like to say a few very special thank yous. And I just want to mention one of my great fans there. He actually sent me a beautiful bottle of Glenlivet, and it's a wonderful bottle. It's Glenlivet 18, and I gotta say, Glenlivet 18 is just superb. And I've got to say to my good friend Stephen Brooks, man, that is a wonderful gift. And I just got to say to you, you know, man, that is so cool. That's a beautiful gift, and I absolutely love it. In fact, I'm going to have a little drink now, if you don't mind. And yeah. So let's have a look here. This is Glenlivet 18. There we go. Beautiful bottle that is. So let's have a sip. Oh, the nose on that scotch. That is good. And I wanted to talk today about vintage Rolex and why I find it so hard to go there again. And I look back at the pieces I've owned. I've owned things like I had a Rolex Explorer 1, a 1016 L serial number. I had a very early 1920s silver cushion case Rolex, one of the first oysters. I've had the red sub. I've had a couple red sub 1680s. I've had the plastic Sea Dweller. I bought one of those for $10,000 and I sold it. I bought a 1655 orange hand sub, early 70s. Again, bought for about 3 or 4, sold for about 6, 7. And, you know, these were the prices at the times. These were the prices at the times. And I've had 5513s, 5512s, so many Tudor snowflakes. It's just, I've had no date Tudors, plastic. Only had one sapphire. So, you know, I've had so many vintage pieces. And you look at it and you think, geez, Descartes came back to me and said, wow, that's a small fortune. But you've got to understand, I didn't own these pieces all at the same time. I was buying and selling. So I didn't have, you know, they weren't just all at the same time. I sold them for what I thought was great money. And, you know, I've had other windfalls too. In my current collection there, you know, I bought my Calatrava. That was $12,250. And I just turned down $17,500. There's a bit of profit in that. That's a beautiful piece, and I'm not selling it because I love it. I love the watch. My annual calendar, I bought my annual calendar, my 5035. I paid $16,750, and I was offered $18,500 by the dealer I bought it from. And there's still money in it. And You know, how's that for cool? I bought it for $16,750, wore it for 12 months, enjoyed it, got the tax back because I paid 18.5 and then I got my tax back. And he's going to give me the 18.5 back for it. And I've had it for 12 months. How's that for cool? And that's what you've got to ask yourself. You say, well, but it's not about the money. I love the annual. So, I mean, in many regards there, you can look back and say, geez, you've owned such wonderful things. If only you'd kept them. Well, hindsight's a great teacher, but you don't know at the time. I sold them. I was buying them in a pre-internet age. This was late 90s. And I was selling them in a, you know, to an international market. So I was doubling, quadrupling my buy price. And that's how it was. I could never buy enough to do it full time. You know, this is the whole thing. Don't ever kid yourself. I couldn't scratch out a full-time living doing that. But vintage Rolex, I've had them all, and why don't I go there again? Well, it's because I've enjoyed them. You know, I've had them, and it'd be too painful to pay full prices now for them. And I mean, in my opinion, I'd rather put money into things like a Patek like that, a Reverso like that. That, you know, that's what floats my boat at the moment. It's top horology. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with collecting Rolex. I mean, if I had a couple $1 million and I could spend $1 million on watches, of course, I'd buy Perpetual, I'd buy a Perpetual chronograph Patek, and then I'd say, well, I want some Rolexes, I want a 1680 red sub, 5513, I want a 1675 GMT, I want a 5508 no crown guard sub, and I want the 6542 GMT no crown guard. You'd buy these things, but in my collection there, it's not quite like that. You know, you've got to go with what you've got. And I think, you know, it's horses for courses. And if you want to get the vintage bug, hey, it's fantastic. Vintage is so cool. And I love vintage. But for me, it's too painful to go back in those memories where I've sold them cheap, fuckers. It's very painful. And to avoid the disappointment, I'm not going back there, because I'd always look back and say, oh, I had this, I had that. And it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, fuckers. Better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, fuckers. That's my advice to all you people out there. I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you fuckers think of that. Nice one, Archie. That's a great vid there. Jesus, Archie. That's almost criminal what you sold those for.
We specialize here in pre-owned Rolex watches. Rolex watch is a very special timepiece, and we always do the servicing exactly as factory specifications. We buy a pre-owned piece and we put it into brand new condition. We have Rolex certified technicians working on that. We completely disassemble the piece. We adjust and polish and change every single part of the watch.
You have to have certified watchmakers that know what they're doing. If you have an expensive car, you're just not going to bring it to any mechanic that doesn't know what they're doing.
You spend $5,000, it's like if you put money in the safe deposit box. And 1 or 2 years from now, you will keep having your $5,000. We have to spend a lot of money to get all this equipment together, but makes me feel I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not a question of money, it's my passion.
Jewelers on time, simply the best.